For the past 2 or 3 days, Sharon and I have been putting together a little bit of something, because in this world of political correctness, when we can't say what we think, and etc., and we think what we can't. So Sharon and I thought, no, we'll put something down in a light-hearted fashion as to what we feel about this tour, you see. And Colin can't really do anything about it. So we put some things together. So I'm going to try and read it. There's about 5 pages of it. This morning I wanted to go on one of Tommy's tours, especially it being the maiden tour, you know. And I wanted to go, and he did ask me to go. He said, "Well, you and Sharon come." And, well, we've got this thing that we've got to put together. So I didn't go, and Sharon didn't go. So, but there, I think Tommy's forgiven us. So, here we are. Now, there's a reference to something called dog paw in here, and dog paw is actually the nickname that we've given to our motorhome. Because when we bought it, as it still is now, there's this registration on it, DD06 PAW. And we thought, oh, that's natty. And we had a dog at the time, Max, and it sort of fitted the bill. So we've left the DD06 on there, and we call it dog paw. So when you hear dog paw, that's what we're referring to. So here we go. I'm going to try and get through this. I hope I haven't had too many wines and it's slurred. If it's slurred, I might get Zoe to help, because she speaks awfully well. So here we are. I'm going to put a cap on. I might need it at the end. Well, here we are, away in France. We made some plans and we took a chance. Roddy and Brendan are holding the forts, so we travelled south to meet our escorts. We arrived in Canterbury at the camping club site and parked up Dogpaw, where we stayed for the night. Colin and Tess greeted us with red wine, and we thought, hey, this ain't bad. We're going to have a good time. Other folks gathered in around Colin's pad. They seemed like a good bunch, so we felt quite glad. Yep, this trip to France is going to be good. It's better than battling with the mud. Some time to relax and explore with these folks. Hear a few stories and crack a few jokes. Either be some characters, that'll be for sure. Banish the blues and bring on a cure. There's people from Stornoway, Liverpool and Kent, and none of them camping in a cold, clammy tent. We've all got flash motorhomes, caravans and cars. We'll cross over on the ferry and invade the French cars. Now, Colin and Tess laid down some rules. No travelling in convoy or acting like fools. Sharon and I felt nervous, so we spoke to Dog Paw. No speeding or convoys or breaking tour law. Colin is the sheriff, his deputy is Tess. If you fool around now, you're going to create and get us in a big mess. Dogpaw was good, and so were the others. We all got to Dover like sisters and brothers. Boarded the ferry and embarked upon deck. Can't change our minds now, so I thought, well, what the heck. And you know, the strangest thing happened as we met this guy and his wife. He was struggling like mad, and she was giving him some strife. You see, she was terrified of flying and sailing on boats. And I thought, strange blooming do, if you're feared of what floats. But, as the decent people we like to think that we are, we comforted his wife while he slunk off to the bar. We tried to talk casual and keep our mind off the matter. But when he got us no beer, I thought, what a ratter. Anyway, you can't win them all. You win some, you lose some. So I looked forward to the crossing while I sat on my bum. But the panic for us started when we drove from Calais. We must drive on the wrong side and not lose our way. Well, that is some task on top of a 200-mile stint. I think tour guide Colin was dropping a hint. Perhaps we are too many. He needs to lose some en route. Maybe I judged these two wrong and they don't give a hoot. Now I know why the convoy was banned at the start. Colin didn't want some to see when others fell apart. Wow, dog paw, you drive for a while. I must take a rest. Cruise control on. You have passed your test. So finally we arrived at Grangela's chateau. I was ever so relieved. One more mile I couldn't go. Raphael and his family were there in full force, with stories and walks we'd get in due course. Now Raf's mum, as if you can forget about it, Raf's mum tried to kill us up some long muddy track, and his grandma intrigued us with some historical crack. Now, you know, she's a smart cookie, because at the end of the talk, we could buy her wee cookie before we could walk. It's only €10, a small price to pay. But she really was good, and she made up our stay. A trip to the gardens of Monsieur Monet taxed body and soul was a tough day. We omitted to load our backpacks with food, and after a while, I was irritable and rude. Believe that. Let's go for our picnic and get the baguettes. So, enough of Monsieur Monet, his house and his debts. So a trip to the cider farm and its Calvados brew. It was too much for sweet Sharon, and she needed the loo. She became weakly and sick on our way back to the site. Not one of you campers know what I went through that night. Yeah, pity me, please. The following day, we packed up and we moved on. Still driving on the wrong side and chasing the sun. Chateau de... I don't know how to pronounce this place. Montagne? Chateau de Montagne. I was going to check it out. Chateau de Montagne, just a 50-mile hop. Not the 200-mile trek to our first camper stop. Pegasus Bridge and the beaches were a memorable sight. Those soldiers had no choice but to face it and fight. The 360-degree film took us back through the years. I wasn't alone in shedding some tears. The war graves are kept so tidy and neat. So many souls lost, knock you clean off your feet. It's an experience to see, unless we forget. I am grateful for the sacrifice from those we've not met. Now Roger is some guy. He's an auto trail man. He sells portable boats from the side of his... He does. So we want to do. He's also a dab hand with a song and a guitar. He played us some tunes, and he was a real star. Thanks, Rich. Jim and Wendy, our Northern Ireland folks, full of old crack, farming and jokes. Jim loves outdoors, he's a barbecue man, but he is so forgetful when packing his van. Forgot his fleece and jacket as well, so I lent him mine so he wouldn't freeze up in hell. What can we say about Zoe and Ads? She's a real cool chick, and he's one of the lads. He's so busy filming, rushes here, runs there. He's filming me now. And Zoe's wonderfully well spoken with her flyaway hair. Yeah. We even have folks from north of the border. It made us feel less like Scottish marauders. We were getting withdrawals from the familiar Scots twang, but Murdo and James took us home with a bang. So, hats off to Colin and Tess, our fine hosts. They really have been the hosts with the most. Counted us in and counted us out, and settled our minds if we had any doubt. Yes, I would definitely say they've done a grand job. It cannot be easy with us motorhome mob. Travelling in convoy and not ordering our bread. Being late for the coach and too long in our bed. You must feel like hens with a disorderly brood, taking care we don't stray and getting our food. Park over here, but not over there. Have you got your fridge working? And how is your hair? But Colin, my friend, watch out for your job.
Oh yes.
We have a young pretender rising up from the mob. Yes, it's tour guide Tommy. He could be the man. He was the one who commandeered your van. He slapped a great big map of the beach landing sites on the side of your motorhome to show off his delights. His pretty young assistant even brought him a big Perhaps his vocals may wane, but of that there's no fear. His passion and fervour for his 10 minutes of fame certainly scored him some points and raised up his game. Thank you, my dear. So it's merci beaucoup to Colin, Tess and Tommy. You've done a superb job, apart from the trip to Monet. The Normandy tour will hold many memories dear, and we had better watch this space for Tommy's tours. Sorry, one little point, and if you would like a copy. €10.
I'll give you 5.